Welcome to the Beyond podcast. Today I have a friend on the podcast, Gopinath. We also call him Gopi. And I met him in a temple, actually, in a monastery a couple of years ago, where we both were monks. And yeah, Gopi, he is a very special talent. He works with people to help them overcome addictions and habits, old patterns, and he uses hypnotherapy. I also had recently a session with him, and it really improved my quality of life, helped me to overcome a habit I struggled with many years, even though I didn't finish this program out of laziness, but it still had such a positive impact in my life. And I'm very happy to have you here in the show today. So please, Gopi, let us know, who are you, what are you doing, and why you're here today.
Thank you for the kind introduction, Advaita. I still remember when I was in this temple community. It was really nice place. And I hope I can come back when I visit Germany next time. But yeah, in terms of my journey, yeah, I mean, I had a pretty normal life in like high school and school, and I tried to become like a professional sports person when I was younger, like a teenager. And but then I was thinking like towards when I was 18, 17, 18, that yeah, I thought there must be something more to life than just going to school and studying at university and working a job, buying a house. So I was thinking there must be something more. So then I was thinking, okay, maybe I'll go to Australia, as far as you can go practically from Germany. New Zealand is a bit further from the
Yeah,
coast. And yeah, I was just thinking I could explore something more to life. And then very shortly after I arrived in Australia, I met some monks there in Melbourne. And yeah, they showed me some meditation practices and showed me amazing books that I read, and they are like mind blowing. And just the experience that I've got even from a little practice was so amazing. And that actually, yeah, almost immediately I chose to go deep in that direction. And then I also became a monk after some time and did that for a few years and did a lot of inner work, which uncovered a lot of stuff that I never dealt with in my whole life, like so many traumas. And there's like a phase in my life that where like deep depression and so much anxiety, and was like suicidal because all these emotions they came up that I never dealt with in my life, and all these traumas and wounds from the past. So I was like crying every day for like basically a year, and yeah, like a really tough time. And then luckily, like with the meditation and everything, and really good friend of mine who helped me with something similar like hypnotherapy, we kind of healed all those traumas from the past. Not all of them, but
yeah.
the
You have to
majority.
start somewhere.
To start somewhere. That's true. But a big chunk, which was actually, which has led me to have this negative self-talk and like self-hatred and being ready to like end my life. And actually changing all those neural pathways, which yeah made me feel really depressed and like the most horrible person. And then I got out of that hole. And then after some time, I kind of graduated from the monastery and uh, focused on different things. And because I got so much help from like the meditation and this hypnotherapy that really transformed my whole inner world, that I was struggling with like anything. And then I chose to do the same for other people. So yeah, that's my mission right now. now and in the future to really help people, conscious professionals, spiritual people, to deal with their traumas from the past, and then so that they're no longer held back by them. And yeah, actually have a positive mindset, and be happy in their own skin rather than feeling like all these negative emotions all the time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know.
there's something.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you for sharing so open. I know for myself in my time in the monastery, like yourself, and dealt with lots of stuff, especially when you practice spiritual practices, all of a sudden all the dirt comes up. It's like they give this example with the ink and the milk. If you put ink in a glass of, in an empty glass ink, and you pour milk inside, and the milk washes out the ink. Yeah, and I also saw by myself so much stuff comes out, especially when you deeply practice every day for hours and hours. And this is like actually 24 hours a day here in the spiritual mindset. But I also saw for myself that sometimes I suppressed my emotions or I didn't dealt with them properly, and later they backfired. And yeah, so I can really relate to what you do is so valuable, because we really need to see like what is there to, yeah, maybe feel it, accept it, and then work with it and let it go. And also what you did with me, I liked so much. You shifted. You not just gave me the. You didn't just remove the negative habit pattern. You also gave me a positive solution. Yeah, and sometimes when we are alone on ourselves, it's very difficult to deal with that. Yeah, for myself, I also had mentors in my life who helped me to overcome certain things to grow. But on my own, it's maybe you see it, maybe you know what to do, but it's so difficult to go back into these habits. So maybe you can share something about the way you work with people, your hypnotherapy, because you also gave me this tape, so people see they're not alone. Actually, there's someone who cares for me, who helps me, and holds my hand and guides me through the process. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm, yeah, it's quite interesting because like now I can really understand that much more. Like if we tell someone, like often someone comes to us with a problem, and then we may tell them, okay, do this differently or think differently. And then like I know for myself, if someone tells me like that, I know this is like
It's
it's very
just your
difficult.
mind. It's just your mind.
Yeah,
Don't
right.
take it so serious.
Exactly. And then there you are, like in this like I don't know whether you probably experienced that as well, like just in these looping thoughts, like these cycles going over and over in your head, and it's just not really practical and easy just to snap out of that. And so which makes it really amazing in hypnosis. Like even scientists, they say when you're under hypnosis, you're much more receptive to suggestions. So if I told you now, like, go out and preach like on the street or have a big microphone and like hold a speech or something, and then you might be quite averse to the idea. You would think, oh, this is crazy. But if under hypnosis actually can, if there's some desire there, like if we actually would like to do it, then you can actually make different imprints in the mind that would actually make it quite easy. So then you may think, oh, actually, I could go out now. I could go um, do a talk on the street, no problem. So there's a way in which, mm, yeah, if we, and especially in this hypnosis that I'm doing, like there's kind of different types. But I'm really glad that I'm grateful that I learned a very deep techniques and have like a bunch of different tools that I can use in a session depending on the client's needs. So then in a session we can actually, let's say someone has like trust issues or authority problems, like a lot of the time, especially these days, is big authority problems, like we can't trust mentors or guides or gurus and teachers. So, and no matter how hard you try, like, oh, I really just want to trust that person, it's really hard. But then if you actually in the session, you go back to the root cause where this started, like let's say your father always mistreated you, or your teacher always yelled at you and made you the clown of the class and was mobbing you, bullying you, then and then you create the belief as a kid or as a teenager, the belief comes in your subconscious that or like father figures or men in general that were aggressive, I can't trust them. So then later in life, you still have the same belief, the same meaning attached to our kind of authority figures. So no matter how hard you try consciously to get rid of that, because there's this massive subconscious realm which tries to protect you, it's almost like impossible to, not impossible, but it's very, very difficult
So you also
to do that.
always use this because you did this with me. It was kind of an inner child work as well. We went back to the root and we try to see where it comes from. Is this always the process? You do it like that?
Yeah, because always there's, unless like just someone died or something, like, and obviously then there's the cause of being resent.
Hmm.
Even there could be like if someone dies and you really can't get over that, there could be so many things like I really, mm, I'm not enough, and this person made me kind of secure, because on my own I'm like totally insecure and everything. So that can also play a part.
Mm.
But normally, like every issue, like if you have an addiction or with trust issues or with lack of confidence, then there has some cause, because like babies don't come on the planet having like confidence issues, they cry and scream and they don't mind what's happening. They're not people pleasers, they don't have addictions and they know they're cared for. But then throughout our life, so many things happen that kind of shifts this natural, wholesome belief that I'm actually good enough, I'm cared for. So then in the session, we go to the place and the scenes where this happened, and we uncover the meanings and the beliefs that were created, and then we can actually change that. So if someone is addicted to like smoking or drinking,
Mm.
often it's like based on I'm not good enough, and something happened in my past. I got rejected from my parents or from my girlfriend, whatever, partner.
Mm.
So now I feel like I'm not good enough. So then I'm always trying to fill that gap. Yeah. But then in hypnosis, one can actually change all those beliefs and those meanings attached that were, yeah, created back then.
And
Does
do
that
you
make
see?
sense?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Do you see a pattern? Like, for example, like I needed to compensate my hole with something to over something happened in my past. I don't want to go in detail now, but you know the story. So something happened in my past, and then I had to compensate the whole with doing all kinds of different things to being feeling fulfilled and happy. Is it always the same pattern usually that people something happens, and you have this kind of hole, and then you need to fill it with uh, drugs or food or with I don't know dressing nicely, like smoking, and is it the same sequence with all the people, or is it completely different?
There's common patterns. So
Mm,
there's one pattern, and then other patterns are. So normally there's some part of us that tries either to protect us, like there's kind of three main things. So that part of us that, for example, makes us addicted to something, makes us always eat more, drink more, smoke, or in that way, then it either tries to protect us or to punish us or to bring us attention. For example, someone who's always chronically sick, or people with eczema and they just can't
mm,
figure out what's happening. They tried so many diets, or other skin problems, even migraines or fibromyalgia, or these so many types of diseases, they very, very often, they actually come from previous experiences. For example, let's say someone has eczema. So if many cases I know about, they had eczema or some skin problem, and when they were very young, what happened is that their brother or sister, they got so much attention from their mother, and they were kind of left out. Or then their brother or sister may have even had some skin problem. So then the mother would always focus on the sibling, and this person didn't get any attention, or not enough attention, or not enough love. So then in the child's mind, it was like, oh, if I also get sick, if I get some sickness or skin problem, then I also get attention and love. So then actually the mind can create this disease. So then so many times it's, for example, some skin problem, let's say, or migraine, then it's based on the need to be loved and cared for. So then can be 20 years later, 30 years later, the adult still has those beliefs in their head. I need this illness or sickness so I get attention, because I didn't get the attention from my mom.
Makes sense. Wow.
Yeah. Well, maybe one other point is like in terms of protection. Some people, they're really overweight, so then no matter what they try, they can't stick to a diet, or they can't lose weight. And then very, very often, especially for women, it's like that when they're younger, they got abused. Something happened from men. Yeah, they got abused when they were young, and then they, as a kid, they form that belief. Okay, if I'm attractive, then I get abused. So let me make like I was working with one person, and the belief that she created was, let me create a barrier that make me unattractive so I won't get abused. So for her whole life, she couldn't follow any diet. Like she couldn't stop eating sugar for more than a day. But then after we worked together, then immediately it was like so easy. And she walked into the supermarket. She even messaged me like the next day or two. She said, man, I walked into the supermarket and I don't want any junk food from here. And so it's very
at the same. Anyways,
yes,
I can just add, he's talking about me.
No, that was actually
I know.
Yeah,
But anyways, I can, like, it's my same issue, not with abuse and stuff, but I try to compensate, looking for love and what happened in my past with parents. But then also we did the session, and then we went to the supermarket, and then I couldn't buy any junk. Like, I didn't want to. I felt like, I mean, you also told me this about this other person, and I tried it out and it was interesting. But then I stopped listening the tape for a few days, and then I could see it came back. But then after some time, it made a switch in me that I don't know what it was. But then I feel like I'm in control now. Like, if I want to buy a packet of chips, I just buy it. But now I don't feel so attracted anymore, because I know my whole life it's junk. We shouldn't eat it. It's toxins. Yeah, and I somehow can use my intelligence. I can decide to indulge in it or not. Like, we have friends, we have a party, we buy some junk. It's different. But other than buying every day because I need to compensate the whole. So, and that's why I can feel like it helped me. I still have my weaknesses. I'm still struggling with the weight, since years now, and also my body constitution contains lots of water, and certain things I can't eat, and it's very difficult for my diet. But now somehow I have this inspiration or understanding and strength to just say, no, I don't want, like, in the evening, oh, I don't need to eat. Why should I eat now? I want to wake up in the morning early, to do my spiritual practices. And I didn't lost weight since then, but I feel more light, more conscious, more happy, not so controlled by, yeah, desires or habits. Anyways, I didn't want to talk about me here, but just thought it's because you just mentioned this topic, and thought I can connect to it. One question I have, though, I was skeptical, not skeptical, but I didn't want anyone to mess around with my mind. You know, everyone says, yeah, hypnotherapy, people, you close your eyes and then you run around naked in the street or whatever. You know, they can do whatever they want. And I think I would have tried it, but I never found anyone, for my understanding, reliable or I can trust. Yeah. When you offered it to me, I knew like I can trust you somehow. It was for me easy to work with you, you know. But how can people understand that hypnotherapy is safe? Because when you guide me through, then at one point I couldn't open my eyes anymore. You know, you said if you try to open your eyes, you go deeper and deeper. And I tried to open my eyes, you know, and it didn't work. And I felt like how I go deeper and deeper. But I think if I really wanted to, I could have opened the eyes. But somehow it was very difficult and also didn't want it to open my eyes. Yeah. Um, but some people might have the fear of losing control. Somebody is telling them what to do in life. And I mean, it's also like one point why you want to go to hypnotherapy because you need help. Yeah, you want someone else to help you because you can't do it yourself. But maybe there's a big misunderstanding out there what is hypnotherapy. Because for me, it was more a guided talk or a guided meditation almost, like inner child healing, but also aspects that, yeah, the words you said, yeah, and then the snipping go deeper and like snapping the fingers. I could really feel like guided and cared and you brought me like in a really deep state. Like after this session, I was completely blissed out. I felt like wow, you know, something changed, you know, just from the first session. But then after you listen to the tape and have other sessions with you later, then you can really go even deeper and deeper, you know. So how can you new people just help them overcome the fear of a hypnotherapy? Because I loved it and I think people should use this tool. Like for years, many people struggling with all kinds of things, and then we have something, a medicine, but we rather go to some doctors, to psychiatry, you know, whatever. Like people have so many things, spend tons of money and resources just to, in the end, don't get any benefit. But then there's stuff out like yours, what can help us immediately and so easy, but out of fear of the unknown or because some doctor says no, don't do hypnotherapy or whatever. Yeah. What is your take to this and how could you? I'm a new guy, I never did hypnotherapy. What would you say to convince me to jump into a session with you?
Yeah, that's a very common conception. But yeah, it's very like the whole time, like you said, you're in control and actually can like some people they may have seen like stuff on stage and like in TV or something, like someone hypnotizes someone and they just
Yeah, yeah, this
bark
exactly.
like a dog or something like that. So there's actually it's like 1 out of 10 people, roughly. They're very highly suggestible. They're mostly very artistic persons.
Mm,
So like those kinds of people, they are very highly receptive to suggestions. So that means they those kind of people you could like on this stage performances and everything. Those are the kind of people that they invite up. And sometimes you can even see like the person may invite someone up the stage, but then they notice they're not really they're not the kind of person that would do these things. So then they actually pick another one because it's kind of a special person
mm,
that really would do these things. But actually, within a normal hypnotherapy session, mm, like the person is always in control. I can't make you do anything that you don't want to do. And yeah, it's like a very natural state to be in.
yeah,
And
I
you
felt
just
like that. Yeah.
bypass,
I
you feel
felt
like
like
that, yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. You're just bypassing the conscious mm, faculty of the brain that always puts some in. Like if I ask you now about your childhood and everything, then you're consciously analyzing everything. And, or maybe I shouldn't say this because I'm on camera. What if he judges me? But that kind of conscious faculty is just released. So you can directly talk to the subconscious mind where all these memories and beliefs and feelings are stored. But the person is always in control. Sometimes even if I say something that the person doesn't agree with, they correct me, so I can't really say anything that they don't want. So it's a very, there's nothing crazy about it, and you're just like in a very relaxed state.
Mm. No, it felt safe. It didn't felt like you say now something to me and I will just do it immediately, you know. It
Yeah,
was more like, yeah, yeah, like you said now, yeah, it was you created the space and then I was not so like afraid of saying what is there. Like I could just share it with you. And yeah, well, you mentioned the subconscious mind. So basically, what you do is you work with the subconscious mind and reprogram the subconscious mind, or
yeah, because and that's why it's like really effective, because we can, like, I know I saw one person recently. She went for like years to talk therapy, and um, she said actually out of one session she got more out of it, more change than her views of talk therapy, because really talking about things doesn't make things better.
mm,
Like, sometimes it does. Sometimes there's some benefit there, but really chewing over things over and over again is not really making things better. Like if you have a broken arm, then you don't just want to talk about it, how it feels. You
yeah,
know, it's broken, but better to fix it. So that's the amazing thing with this particular, especially the one I learned, um, and the unique tools I'm using is really that you can fix things very quickly, even within 1, 2, 3 sessions. You can make.
even a broken arm.
Yeah, I mean, actually, like I know cases like the one very famous person who kind of started with the hypnosis. He was fully paralyzed. The doctors told him he could never walk again or even move. But he actually healed himself. Like he could fully walk again and move and everything. So
He also Joe Dispenza. I don't know if he also had this.
yeah, no dispenser. Yeah,
Yeah, he also healed himself just by changing his thoughts and everything and imagining and feeling how he feels like if he would be healed now and he changed his whole chemistry. I tried a few things like that also in my life and I mean it's so powerful, like really. Yeah.
right. Yeah, it's very. The mind is very very powerful.
I just heard a few days ago. I mean, I noticed before that, children are very suggestible till they're 5. You have to be very careful how to treat them. Don't shout at them, don't hit them. Like treat them like children. They can do whatever they want, kind of. But recently I heard till 7, children they live in their subconscious mind, and then after
Mm.
7, only they start slowly being conscious. Yeah. So whatever happens till 7, it will form the whole reality later. And when you work with people, is it usually in those times when they were very young that something happened, which triggered later some habit or addiction? Can
Yeah, a
you?
lot of the time it's like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes even like one person recently, she went like all the way back to the womb,
Yeah.
like in her mother's womb. And then she heard voices like, "Oh, we should get rid of the kid." Like
Wow.
the father was saying, you should abort the child and get rid of the child." And then, so obviously,
Wow.
so then later in life, she feels like really unloved and rejected, and that was like a constant theme. Like, "Oh, I feel so unloved, and I feel like everyone hates me." But that was because, like, right from birth, like before birth, actually she wasn't wanted, and she heard those things in the
Oh, this
womb.
is far out, yeah.
And yeah, and then after we changed those things, and there's some amazing cool tools you can use that
Mm.
really interrupt these thoughts and feelings and beliefs, so that you actually can really heal, these wounds inside.
Oh, it's interesting. Like
So
it
yeah, most
sounds.
people, hmm?
Yeah. So,
Yeah, most things that do happen like before
mm.
before 7.
Wow. Like with the womb, I remember now in the Vedic text also is something written, I think, from the 3rd month. The consciousness is developed already. Like the soul, the living being is fully conscious. Yeah. And we think like, what does he know? He doesn't understand the language, but I think it's more subtle. Like animals to communicate, also human beings when they're in the womb, when they are baby, they still understand, because when we talk, there's a certain vibration we send out. Yeah, our consciousness is delivered by sound. So somehow whatever we say and think and feel, I think the baby can feel it, especially the mother is connected with the baby. Yeah. So it makes totally sense for me. But then I think like, wow, like I researched a year ago about birth traumas, and I'm doing this conscious connected breathing where you breathe for 1 2 hours without interruption. After the in and exhale, you have no pause, like long um, sessions where you really heal also traumas. You cry, you laugh, you shake. Sometimes it's nothing, but every time you feel this deep healing just from breathing. And some call it also rebirthing, because we have during the birth, all of us get a trauma, especially when the mother also had a birth trauma. Then she gives this birth trauma also to the child. I mean, it's a heavy experience. You come to this tunnel, and then all of a sudden it's light and people are around, and it's a traumatic experience for most of us. Yeah. I got a son recently. We were at a midwife's place and we did some breath work, and it was so beautiful. He came out easy, and my wife was not even screaming. Everything was smooth, and I'm 100% sure there's no trauma. Yeah. But when you go to hospital, like I was born, and then you have all these doctors, they need to give the mother medication that the baby can come out earlier, or they have to cut it open, and actually the trauma starts there already. And then, yeah, what to speak of later when we grow up and the parents say something wrong to us, or we get mobbed in school, all these small things we think it's not important, but later we suffer for the rest of our lives.
Yeah. And even after birth as well, like back like 40, 50 years ago, I think they just put the babies in like a big room
Yeah, yeah,
and like a bed, and then like sometimes even people go back to those scenes where they're just lying there abandoned, from their mothers and parents. Like they think they're abandoned.
yeah, yeah, sure. Of course, you need the mother. I mean, we also, my wife, she's a medical doctor and she wanted to have the child in a hospital. But then COVID happened and they didn't allow me to come. Yeah, and they would have taken the child away immediately because of the masks and everything. And so we decided to try out a midwife, and it was such a beautiful experience. And the wife, she wanted some medication for the pain, and the midwife said, "No, we can't. Like, it's okay later, later." And they always told me, "No, no, she doesn't need it. It's the child can come, and the child wants to come. Just give it space, give it time." And twice that's such an amazing experience. I'm not saying anything against having a child in a hospital. It also has their ways, and it's also positive for certain people. They want it in that way. Also respect it. But for my own personal experience, it was beautiful to give the space. And I mean, I know for myself and from other mothers who told me about their experience when they gave birth, it can be quite intense, yeah. And then for the baby to feel something, or to take the baby away from the parents, must be quite traumatic. Do you think it's also connected somehow, if you speak about spiritual stuff, previous lives that we carry, because we experience something and then whose fault is it? You can't say, yeah, it's your karma from previous life, but certain aspects we need to experience, or we need to maybe have the birth trauma to trigger something in our life what represents our karma from a previous life. Do you also think like that, or is it?
Yeah, I mean, we all have the things we need to go through in life. And yeah, we think like nothing happens by chance. So whatever traumas we go through in this life, then yeah, this is because we've done something in our previous lives. And you do actually sometimes you do go back
You
in
do
the
go back
session.
sometimes with people also?
Yeah, so you can go back to previous lives, and there's like a whole like you can even just solely focus on previous lives in the session. Like you can do that too. So then people
Mm.
actually go way back to different lives. So yeah, we so then we carry the karma and the things we need to experience in this life, and then we go through all these things. And that's why we go through, like, there's this Enneagram, you know this?
Yeah.
It's like a personality type kind of analysis. But anyway, there's also described that based on your karma and based on, I think this, based on your karma and based on your childhood, like you experience so many things in your childhood, which then shapes your mind and your subconscious for your personality in the future. So we're definitely conditioned in that way, and conditioned from our previous karma, and then what we experience when we're young, and then how we function later in life. But then we can, or we have the duty to do the best we can to be able to live with that, and also heal those things. Doesn't mean that we went through this, that we have to keep it.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that we went through these traumas, which are horrible, or might have been horrible, really bad, or terrible. But doesn't mean that we need to keep them with us. So just like if you break an arm, it doesn't mean that you need to have a broken arm forever, but you can fix it. So in the same way, you can also fix these things from the past. So you don't actually need to carry them with you forever. But this is like a personal choice everyone needs to make, whether they want to just avoid it, but having to live with the consequences, and or actually making that step and dealing with it. And then they can get free from those reactions, like those things that you still carry with you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I just thought about my own life. It's more a reoccurring thing, like something happens again and again in my life, like the same pattern with girlfriends or with eating or with whatever I did. I could see it comes again and again, and it's something like the universe tells me, hey, you need to solve this now. It's like playing a computer game, and you always come to the end boss level, and you always fail and start from again and again, from new. So yeah, I wanted to ask you, why is it so important to deal with these habits and patterns? Why is it so important to overcome these negative things we created in our life? But somehow, like, now when I think about it, because it comes again and again, and we can't actually grow. I like the example with the broken arm, that we don't want to keep the broken arm, we want to heal it. And why is it so important also for us? I mean, of course I know to heal the broken arm, but to really get these things out of me, or to not even get it out, you transform it actually in something positive. Why is it so important for us as human beings to develop, to grow? Which areas of life can improve? Like, maybe we can speak a little bit about the positive side of working in hypnotherapy.
Yeah, like you said, like things will come back over and over again if we don't deal with them. So, and I know that for myself as well, that like I've done some astrology. I also do like palmistry.
Oh yeah,
I've
yeah.
done some astrology with a like really amazing person, and he was telling me that in my past life, apparently, I like abandoned my child and mistreated my child, abandoned my child, and then so in this life, from what I can see, I experienced things when I was young that led me to believe I'm not loved, I'm not really cared for, and so the same thing I probably would have done to my child in my previous life. So then, but now I'm kind of given the responsibility to care for others, to kind of work for this, and so if we don't, that's just like a side note on what you just said. But then if we don't deal with these things, then like let's say if I again in this life mistreat other people or my child or abandon my child, then I'll go through the same thing again. And if I don't make the shift in my head, and then the same thing will happen again, like you said as well. So if we actually don't change those patterns, then we just continue in the cycle. And it's the same for actually, not the same, but also for people on their spiritual path. Sometimes I can be like spiritual bypassing, like we think, oh, I'm just going to focus all in and I go on and on like my spiritual practice, and but I'm not going to deal with all the stuff that's going on in my mind, and I'm just going to ignore this, just so-called just focus on the spiritual stuff. I've done that myself, and but actually these things do come up, and if we don't deal with them, then it will just make life really hard, unnecessarily. And if we just take some time for ourselves and really invest in ourselves, yeah, then we can, instead of always having that background noise and this shame and guilt and harsh words to ourselves, then we can just deal with it and make peace with that part of ourselves, so that we can actually move forward. And even like that will make our spiritual practice much easier as well.
But is
Does
it
that
also
make
like,
sense?
yeah, totally. Yeah. Is it also like fear? Like I identify myself so strong with my habit, or like it's part of me, and there's actually some fear. I know for myself, fear letting go, fear of changing, fear of the unknown, and then we hold on, and actually we don't want to change. Yeah, is this
Yeah.
the you think? I mean, is this the root cause? Actually, we don't want to give this up. We identify with it, or not the root
Yeah, I
cause,
mean
but
there's one saying that I'm sure you know this one. There's the only change of the pain of your current situation is bigger than the pain of change. So have you heard that one before?
yeah.
So we often it's like that. If the pain of the current situation is bigger than the pain of change, then we do something about it. But in terms of this part of us that really, that's actually the crux, like, because this part of us is serving some purpose for us. Like, let's say for the woman who's overweight, it serves the purpose of not being abused, or for the child or the person who's some chronic illness, it serves the purpose of getting attention. Or and there's other examples, but just for these two, for example. So then, because it's so deeply rooted, it's like this part of this part that was created at some point in our life is so deeply rooted that it's scary. Like if I think, oh, if I'm just gonna lose lots of weight, then I'm subconsciously we're thinking I'm gonna get abused again. Or if I lose my sickness or my skin problem, then I'm not gonna get love. So then so unless we actually uncover this part's role and function and purpose in our life, and then give it a better role, like we did in our session as well, then it's very difficult because we think it serves some good function for us. So there's one aspect, and then there's another aspect as well, that depending on what, like in the Vedic literature, as you know, there's different modes of nature. So if we're heavily in the lower modes, then also we may just be very comfortable being in a very negative situation. Like you can see some people that they live on the street and they don't even know. If you give them a nice place and a shower, they'd rather live on the street and take drugs. So that's also another aspect there. What do you think?
Yeah, it's like I just thought about myself. If I don't change, if I don't like go on with my theme in my life, then actually more problems will come from that. like the overweight, obese, you get so many diseases, or you smoke, you could die from it, get lung cancer, whatever. Like whatever it is, like so it's very crucial actually that we go to this route, transform it in order to change, and we need the change, otherwise we repeat the same cycle again and it gets actually worse and worse. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I like the example you gave, you didn't take care of your child in your previous life. So now you have to take care of the whole world. No, but now you have to take care of other people. Um, and if you run away from this responsibility, then it will be not good for you at the end. But now you take up your karma, what you created, and you try to, yeah, help people what you couldn't do in the previous life. Yeah. It's now an example how to transform like something we did. Yeah. Um, for my personal self, I also can see if I don't, because I know I'm living a very healthy lifestyle. I have a very good life. Everything is perfect, and then in the evening I get these cravings. Yeah. If I wouldn't have stopped, like in 10 years, 20 years, I would have get very sick. Yeah. And then I can't practice my spiritual life. I can't help people. I can't make YouTube videos. Like it's everything depends on me stopping eating in the evening, for example. But then I have to go deep. Okay, where does it come from? Yeah. And then we discover actually the root cause, the pain. And in my teenage life, the pain, the trigger or the outcome was not eating, was something else. Yeah. I took shelter in some other kinds of substances. So maybe the outside, what we do, maybe always changing, yeah, but the pain inside we carry for so long time, and this is where we have to go to. This is what we need to change. Yeah. Because the one person needs to watch movies, the other one needs to take drugs, the other one needs to eat, the other one wants recognition, wants to become famous. Everyone has his. I think like everyone of us is addicted, no? We're all like kind of try to escaping the pain reality and try to, yeah, find shelter in something we actually what harms us, what we don't need, even if our own body creates some disease like you mentioned before. It's pretty far out. Wow.
Yeah.
If I just
Quite deep stuff.
Now if I'm talking now with you, I didn't thought about it so much, but like when we had the treatment, but now I just reflecting about my own process, and it's very, yeah, I'm very happy actually that we connected. And I know you have this online community, um, on School, the platform School, where you give people content and guide them, in their healing journey with hypnotherapy, and you're also coaching people on a one-to-one basis. So, what's the best to get in touch with you? Like, what is your preferred platform to communicate? And
Yeah, I mean, you have the online platform, so they can check out some tools for the mind, how to manage, mm, maybe it's different issues that you may have, maybe it's trust issues or relationship or addiction or negative habits, and give you a better way of seeing them, like we did today, for example, as well, and give you more tools, and then with some hypnosis audios that kind of re mm, yeah, make new imprints in the mind. Because when you hear things over and over again, especially in hypnosis, and all these new neural pathways are being formed, and you actually start thinking differently about situations and life in general. So there's a lot of cool stuff on there, and you can also connect personally. I also offer like an onboarding call to everyone that joins, so you can just have a chat about the person's situation. And yes, really, I really like it, and I hope if anyone wants to go a little deeper, I hope there could be some benefit.
yeah, I can really recommend like the kind of onboarding call we had, the first one. um, yeah, I was already there. I could get so much out of it and got very excited to work with you. Um, yeah, I wish more people would know what you're offering, and I hope, yeah, you can help many more and myself. Yeah, Gopi, is there anything you would like to add? Or I will also put all the links how to connect with you in the comment section below. And I hope I have you again on the show. Maybe next time we can do something practical. I don't know if it's possible.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Some
That'd be
short
great.
demonstration. I didn't think about it
Yeah.
now, but yeah,
I actually thought about it before, but then, yeah, I also forgot it. Maybe next time we can do something. Yeah, yeah, just wanted to thank you for having me, and thank you for, you're like an example. You've been helping people for so many years, and you've sacrificed so much time of your life selflessly serving people you don't even know, distributing so much spiritual knowledge, and you're spending so much time for very high costs. And yeah, I know you're very gentle and very nurturing and caring person. So I want to thank you for being such a wonderful example and being an amazing father as well. And yeah, I'm sure anyone who's listening to this, you may have already worked with Advaita, but he also got a really amazing community. And yeah, I just wanted to thank you for being such a wonderful example. And I hope I can follow.
you're too sweet, too kind to me.
That's true.
Wished would be the just my last podcast with Keshav Swami was about spiritual flow, and his three principles were to enter into flow, because this is my main topic, to be in flow in life. And the three steps of flow, what he mentioned was find your purpose, your dharma, what is your purpose in this life, and then use this purpose to serve others. By serving others, you be in the flow. Yeah. And then the third one was divine, align with the divine. Yeah. To make it spiritual, you have to connect with divinity. And I think
Yes.
this is what you're offering. And now you're reflecting about my work. And I think this is important for all conscious spiritual leaders or coaches, that we really find what is it what drives us, what is it what we can do best, what we like to do, not just to make money or to find a place in this world. What is this one unique talent God gave you to serve? Yeah. And when we serve, step out of our comfort zone, then really stuff is happening, life is flowing. And if we then find the connection to divine, connected to the divinity, yeah, to God, then it's not just on a material platform, it also really uplifts everyone and helps them on their own spiritual path. So I'm really thankful that you were here today, and I hope somehow we can work together and find ways to improve ourselves and to share whatever we can with the world. First starting with our friends and family, and then, yeah. Thank you, Gopi.
Thank you.